You're listening to the Packernet Podcast Network.
You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Libsyn Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Libsyn Ads. Go to libsynads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com. You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Libsyn Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Libsyn Ads. Go to libsynads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com.
Actually, it's the lead play in our offense. Yes, a YN or a tight end to open up somewhere between 6 feet and 9 feet. Get an isolation with the linebacker. Tell the tackle to take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, to drive down on the first man to his inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here. Try to run this play in the alley.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. Text us, 865-658-5824. Join alongside Tim live in Green Bay. We got Jacob the Beard in Wisconsin here to talk a little Packers this evening as rookie mini camp opened up today. And, man, I tell you, it's just exciting to see all the notifications come across the old X app today, as well as YouTube. Pretty cool time to be a Packers fan with all these new. It's like Christmas, right? Like Christmas morning, we get to open our gifts here and see what they can do on the field just a little bit. But Tim, how you doing today, bub?
Doing great, man. Happy to be here. How's it going?
Jacob, what are you into today, man? You do anything productive?
I did. I worked 10 hours today, and then I started cleaning up my garage. Yeah, that's right. I actually just watched all of the new prospects interviews, which it sounds like we're going to get into a few of them on this episode today. So that's cool. Man, I told Clayton right before we went live, I absolutely love these guys and their personalities. You can see why they were a good fit for the team. We can talk about, Oladapo having some injury stuff, some hidden stuff. Oladapo was a Packer fan. Kalen King's favorite player growing up was Charles Woodson. There's a bunch of guys that had some ties to the Packers there, so it's pretty cool. Javon Bullard loves that he's playing for another organization, basically just another G, switch the colors. So, yeah, I'm like with Tim, man. I'm excited to get this going. It feels like we're already right back into football season now. It feels real.
No doubt about it. Let's hit some news right off the top here. At NFL Rumors tweeted this out. Breaking news, the NFL schedule is planned to be released next week on Thursday, May the 9th, according to Fox Sports. So we're going to get that schedule released next Thursday. We'll find out exactly when, where the games will be played. Really excited about seeing that. The first thing that I do, guys, when that schedule releases is I immediately go to the cold weather games. All right, when are we playing? When is going to be some snow flying at Lambeau? That's what I need to know. So that's the first thing I look at. But some of the people in the chat already said, got a little bit of bad news today. At least it happened early, though. You kind of get this type of stuff fixed and get ready for camp. But Rob Demovsky tweeted out, Packers 5th-round pick, Katan Oladapo, is in a boot / on scooter, broke the big toe on his left foot during a drill at the combine. He actually still did motion drills. You think he means motion drills? Or
Position.
Oh, so it's just a typo there. Okay, I was like, potion drills.
Poster drills.
They drink it out at the Don Hudson Center? What the hell's going on out here?
Him and Harry Potter and Dumbledore are hooking it up. We had potions class today.
So, yeah, they had potion class today at his pro day, and then had surgery before the draft. Teams were aware of it, believes he'll be ready by camp. So obviously not great news there from Oladapo, but that's the type of stuff that you want to kind of uncover early, right? And get ahead of it and get ready for training camp for sure.
He's a Packer for sure, right? Wouldn't be a preseason or an off season without somebody being hurt, right?
Absolutely. So Turtles in the chat said Edgerrin Cooper had a one-handed INT and fumble recovery today. LOL. So that's kind of cool, right? I'm certainly talking about Edgerrin Cooper, not Cooper DeJean. We want 0 Cooper DeJean updates all season long. I want to go ahead and put that out there for everyone. All right. Yep. So now I will be bringing you Tyler Nubin updates, but that's the exception, not the rule. All right. So let's do this. Let's kind of talk about Javon Bullard a little bit. This was really cool. I'm going to kick it off here first of all with Matt LaFleur. Actually, let's just go to the screen grab here. Matt Schnaben tweeted out, multiple rookies said Jordan Love reached out to them after they got drafted. Javon Bullard, quote, having QB1 reach out to you, hit your phone, it's huge. I don't take that lightly, man. Just the fact that he actually reached out because he didn't have to do that, just hats off to him for that. I respect him for that just alone. Pretty cool to see Jordan reaching out to the rookies right off the bat, especially someone who's not even playing on his side of the ball, right? Here's what Matt LaFleur had to say about it earlier today.
Speaking of Jordan, several of the rookies said that he texted him right away after they got drafted. I think Aaron did that sort of thing too. But what does that just tell you about the effort he's putting in as a leader?
Yeah, I think it just shows how far he's come, his maturity level, and really kind of taking the reins, taking ownership of his team. And he's been fantastic throughout the course of the offseason. And, that's kind of what we expect from him.
Love it. Now, obviously something that Jordan or that Aaron Rodgers did pretty much every year. You heard Aaron Jones talk about that multiple times, how Aaron kind of made him feel comfortable right off the bat, taking you guys under their wings. Just something else that Jordan Love got to study behind Aaron and learn how to be a leader in that regard. But pretty cool to see Jordan Love stepping up already. Man, that contract's coming like a freight train, boys. I believe he's going to get the bag here.
Yes.
Tim said, let me hold a Benny. That's what Tim said.
Let me wash your car for $2.
Clean all that up for you for $2. Never mind. If you guys Friday, you know what we're talking about here. So, so pretty cool. Here was actually Javon Bullard in the locker room. You guys remember when we played his draft day reaction, and he dropped the old F-bomb. Check this out. Here's what Javon Bullard said about it today in the locker room with the media.
I'm really surprised I got away with it because my mama was right there beside me. So, it was just, like I said, I can't fake the funk, man. It was an amazing moment for me, one of the best feelings I ever had, one of the best moments I ever had in my life. So it was definitely a surreal moment for me.
He said, I'm surprised I got away with it. My mama was sitting right there.
Mama knows she's getting a new house, so she's going to let that one slide.
Is that the full clip that you have of him, or do you have his extended interview or no?
Yeah, I've only got 2 extended interviews for time's sake. I've got Jordan Morgan and I've got Edgerrin Cooper, and then we got a video on Marshawn Lloyd too. What else did you take away from that? I'm sure you watched the whole thing, right?
I did, yeah. He just is a super humble guy, really down to earth. He talks about how he is going to play like that dog mentality, though. How it's good to be around other Georgia guys. How he knows that there is there's a par of excellence, a standard that he wants to keep up because he's used to that at Georgia, and he says he can get used to having to do that same standard of excellence here in Green Bay. He talks about how what I really liked was the last 10 to 20, 30 seconds of his interview. He talks about how he's very religious and how basically he gives everything up to God and how he trusts his plan. And I think he even has a comment of saying, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. And he goes on to say, he was just like Jay says here, very mature, very down to earth guy. You can tell that he almost, he seems way older than 22 or whatever he is, 21, 22. He seems like he's a 30-year-old vet, the way he does interviews, the way he holds himself. So that was pretty cool. A lot of the other guys you could see there, they couldn't help but they're grinning, they're smiling, they're cheesing out. He just looked like he's dialed in. Like, he's ready to go. So it was cool.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the college tape, he looks like he's NFL ready, but we've been fooled multiple times before, right? I think Javon Bullard is going to be a day one starter. That's just me personally. I think he'll beat Anthony Johnson Jr. out for that opposite safety spot. There's a chance they still may sign a player or two here or there, right? Obviously, you got players that were on the team last year, Rudy Ford, that might be, coming on the eventually, depending on what kind of offer he gets. But it's so cool to see them take a weakness and kind of flip it into what could be a strength, right? And I'm trying not to get the cart before the horse here, but I'm feeling really good about these rookies and just the I don't know, the improvement that we're probably going to see here on the defensive side of the ball, which we need more than anything, obviously. J. Cole in the chat said he compared Athens to Green Bay, and as a person who lived in Athens, I can agree. That was the cool thing about my first trip. Obviously, he's talking about Athens, Georgia, where the University of Georgia is. That was the cool thing about my first experience coming to Green Bay. The first thing I said was, this feels like college football. Like, it was that much kind of just small town feel. The community comes together on Saturdays. Here at Sundays, obviously. It was just really cool. You don't get that in Chicago. You don't get that in the Meadowlands. You don't get that probably even in Arizona or some of these other places, right? It's just literally the stadium is in the middle of a damn neighborhood. It's just the coolest thing in the world, man. There's nothing like Green Bay. So it's cool that he did draw that parallel to Athens and kind of come from that college atmosphere for sure. Cool little shots here. Anthony Campanelli, one of my favorite additions this year, linebacker coach out here working with the boys, getting them ready. If you'll notice in the background there too, that's Jeff Hafley with his hands on his knees watching every move, right? Watching every single move. So Campanelli, I'm going to unmute it here. Let's see if we can hear anything. Can't hear the instructions on that one because of the wind, but look how beautiful Ray Nitschke Field looked today, boys. Telling you, man, it's summer's right around the corner. Training camp's going to be here. I mean, we're going to blink and it's going to be July, and we're going to be talking about our first preseason game right around the corner. Going to be awesome. So, obviously, with Jeff Hafley being on the staff now, Coach LaFleur was actually asked about Coach Haf today. Let's see what he had to say.
Been like working with Jeff Hafley over the course of the last few weeks with guys in the building.
Yeah, it's been great just to see how he interacts with the guys. He does a great job of giving them the why behind everything we're doing. I think that's important, showing the guys how teams are going to attack us. Because I think if you have an idea of how people are going to attack you, you got a better chance of stopping some of the plays that are going to come at you and, being able to throw counters to what people are going to do. So I think he's done an outstanding job, just how clear and concise he is. And then he does a good job of wanting to get to know these guys and build a relationship.
Yeah, and that's the big thing about Haf, that it seems like the players who's played for him in the past, Tim, it's he knows how to connect. And you can see the way he communicates in the pressers. Now, again, that's not the most important thing, right? But you could tell that he's got a high social IQ. He understands the image he's portraying. It's nothing fake. He's the guru, right? You heard Richard Sherman talk about it. You heard other DBs call him the DB whisperer, just how he's so well prepared. People will follow you to hell and back if they think you know where you're going, period, case closed. And Jeff Hafley, he seems to definitely carry that persona of, hey, look, I know where I want this defense to be. Get on board or get the heck out of the way. That's the way it feels, Tim.
Yep. And I really like what Coach LaFleur said there about telling the guys the why. I don't care, if you're a veteran or you're a rookie or you're somewhere in between, you're learning a new system. Guys are always they're going to put their hands on their hips and they're going to, why are we doing this? Why do you want me to do this? And it's one thing to just scream at a guy and tell him, earn your paycheck, shut up and do what I tell you to do. And it's another thing to tell a guy, shut up and do what I tell you to do, but here's why I'm telling you to do it. Here's what we're trying to accomplish. And, I think that, like you said, he's got a high social IQ and, knows how to engage with those players and, able to get the best out of these guys. So, he's still getting his feet wet, obviously, right now, as we get closer to training camp. this will be more interesting to watch how this develops, and not just Hafley, but our position coaches too. And really this defense as a whole. I can't wait to see it come together.
Definitely. And you talk about that and people following you. First thing that always comes to mind when you hear about that is Vince Lombardi's quote. It is essential to understand that the battles are primarily won in the hearts of men. Men respond to leadership in a most remarkable way. And once you've won his heart, he will follow you anywhere. Vince Lombardi. That's kind of what it feels like here, Jacob. And it doesn't hurt that we got Mr. Campanelli leading that linebacker room, knowing that he's a big Vince Lombardi fan coming from a very, very proud Italian-American family, right?
Yeah. He's known, too, for being a little bit colorful with the language.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I like that. I think there's the days of just screaming at guys just to scream at them because you're the coach and they take it. I think that's kind of over, depending on the situation. But I know, like Tim said, it's kind of like when you were – I've never had a kid. I've been a kid. I've had to watch, babysit. It seems like that nowadays, like kids are the same way. You don't just say – I remember my dad used to always be like, because I said so. Like, that doesn't help me learn anything. Like, especially in the football aspect, like, you're yelling at me for doing something wrong. Well, what did I need to do instead? Like, and I think Hafley has a way of maintaining that persona of like, he's in charge, he's the big dude, he's the hard, you know what? But at the same time, he takes the 2 seconds while you're running away from the play back to the huddle. He goes, hey, this is what you should have done. I was trying to do this. I'm trying to set you up for success here. And I think that resonates a lot with, especially the younger guys that are coming into a situation where they're nervous as all heck. They're probably self-conscious about not screwing up. Hafley knows how to crack through and get their respect and kind of earn their trust right away. So, yeah.
Yeah, because everyone's new in this defense. The rookies are getting orientated too, but I mean these veterans are as well. And I think it's cool. We talked about Jordan Love reaching out to the guys. I'm sure Jair's talked to a lot of the guys as well, and a lot of our veteran leaders. They're going to show each other, show these rookies how to be a Packer and how to be an NFL player. But this whole team, on defense is learning this system together. So there is no, nobody's going to be able to say, well, last year we did this or we were, that doesn't matter. So it's new for everyone, man. And communication is absolutely key.
Yeah. And that whole asking why, it's okay to ask why if it's, I want to understand. When you ask from a sense of why should we do that? Why are we doing this? Like, why are we wasting our time doing this? That'll get the foot in the rear end, right? One thing I've noticed about the younger generation here, and I don't mean to sound like the old guy in the room, the younger generation cares. They want to be a part of something special. I think that sometimes some of us, and whether we like it or not, Tim, we're starting to step into that older generation, right? And to me, the most important thing is to connect with those people and connect with the young men and women in the country and be like, okay, what are you excited about? Like, take 2 damn seconds to get to know somebody and actually get the walls to lower down just a bit, because we live in such a world where everybody's so divided, right? And it's because everybody's doing their own thing. Everybody's staring at their own screen rather than actually taking 2 seconds, connecting with someone, finding out where they come from, finding out some of the hardships in their life, find out their why. That's the big thing, right? Yeah. The most successful companies in the history of the world understood why, not what, why. So many companies will launch in business, and it's about what we do. Here's what we do. Here's what we do. And they come and go. They're a dime a dozen. But when you explain right off the bat, here's why we're doing what we're doing. Like whether you're a fan of Apple or not, and Steve Jobs, he understood exactly what he was trying to accomplish, and he led with the why. Why are we doing this? We're going to change the way everybody on the face of the planet communicates. And that's how you end up stepping into the very first iPhone, which, by the way, I'm team Samsung.
Speaking of the younger generation, we got Emilio in the house.
And Emilio, I got to say this, dude. The creamer liqueur that you gave me, bro,
the best thing you've ever had, right?
You remember that iced coffee I made you the other night,
dude? I was going to ask you that recipe because that was delicious.
So I put the cream liqueur in the frother, bro. It's money anyway. And since we're on that subject, J. Cole in the chat said, "Had my first cannoli, not bad."
Hey, look at that,
Jacob. You had your first one.
J. Cole.
But you know what? I got the day off tomorrow. I might swing up to Keys Cafe.
Do it.
I'll send you a picture. I'll send you a video, Emilio. How about that? It's weird.
Money back guarantee, Jacob. If you get a cannoli up there and you don't like it, don't call me. I'm not reading.
I'll Venmo you $5 if you don't like the cannoli. I'm telling you, it's going to be one of the best things you've ever had.
It's unbelievable, man. It's hard to screw them up too. It really is.
Yeah.
Let's see who else got. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, what are you gonna do, Emilio, if I become like a cannoli addict and I'm like up at 3 a.m. and I'm like, hey man, when I get more cannolis?
I think you can get them shipped in. If you become fiending for them, I think we can get them shipped into you.
Was that the Tyrone Bigham's voice?
The problem is getting Clayton to sign off on that on the budget plan. I don't know if we're going to be able to work that in.
Yeah, I in my contract.
Brings me to my next point. Don't smoke crack.
No deal.
I'll tell you, for the draft next year, we are going to have 3 dozen cannolis in the house. That's happening. All right. That is happening.
Every pick, everybody slams one. We're going to have 7. Or if Goody keeps 7 picks, we could end up slamming 11 cannolis. Jacob's like, no shot.
Depressed Packer fan says, I'm excited for this season. Bullard is about to go crazy.
Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. We all have smartphones, and we all know they're pretty amazing, but they also can be amazingly distracting, especially when we're around other people. So US Cellular wants us to reset our relationship with our phones by putting down our phones for $5. That's right, a company that sells phones wants us to put down our phones. And to see what we find, learn more at uscellular.com/built for us.
You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Libsyn Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Libsyn Ads. Go to libsynads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com. You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Libsyn Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Libsyn Ads. Go to libsynads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com.
When you watch Javon Bullard's tape, it's like this dude, you'll hear us talk about like Tyler Nubin played with his eyes, right? He wasn't the quickest guy on the field, but he was always a half a step ahead because he played well with his eyes. Javon Bullard does both. Like, you can see him play with his eyes, and he's got that quick twitch first step. Just absolutely awesome. I'm excited to see him on the field too. Chris N in the chat says, when is J Love 10 getting paid? 196 for 4 is my guess. So obviously today was the first day it could get done. I think it's going to be much closer or during training camp, to be honest with you guys. I think it's going to get a little bit awkward if he doesn't have that new contract and the pads go on in training camp, because now that's where he's got to play hardball. And I don't want anybody getting pissed off at Jordan Love, because he's got to protect himself, right? Once you go into training camp and you could potentially, get hurt and lose all of that everything you've worked your tail off for, I hope the Packers do the right thing and get him that contract before training camp. That's just me. What do you think, Tim? What do you think it get done, man?
I'm thinking sometime between now and then. It's hard to predict that with any certainty, and I'm sure they're still ironing out specifics, but my guess is it gets done before camp. I'm with you there. I don't think anyone wants any funny business, any distractions going into camp, especially not with your QB1.
Yeah, for sure. And here's the thing, like you guys know I'm Team Packers here. Like if Jordan Love were to ask for a trade tomorrow, I'm not following Jordan Love to another team. I'm a Packers fan through and through. But at the same time, man, it's like they need to do the right thing here. And I'm not saying he has to be the highest paid quarterback in the league. I'm not saying that by a long shot. But the thought, we have all the leverage, we being the Packers. They have all the leverage in the world, right? They could franchise tag him for 2 years. That is the last thing you want to do, man. You talk about ruining a working relationship with someone, trying to hold them hostage like that with a franchise tag. And I understand there's some fans that go, hey, that's the price of business, right? It's just business. It's business. Same time, you got the opportunity to do the right thing, man. I think they should. But Jacob, when do you think the deal will get done, man?
Tomorrow. No, it's going to happen. I'm thinking mid next week, to be honest.
Got it. All right, there you go.
I think they want to get it done, like you said, before the whole real swing of things comes. Like it is a bad look if you're getting rookies in here, and there's a lot of rookies. There's a lot of UDFAs. There's a lot of really young players still that are 1 or 2 year vets now. So if they see, and there's a lot of back talk, I'm sure, from guys prior like Jones and Rodgers that left maybe a little bit disgruntled. I'm sure that the front office doesn't want to leave a bad taste in all of these young dudes' mouths. That came out weird. And but for real though, I mean, I really don't think that they want to let them think that like the reputation of the Packers organization is that, yeah, we're gonna screw you over at some point, and we're not gonna pay you what you're worth. And Emilio, keep it together.
All I have to say is Clayton talked about this last year when Jordan Love got that bridge contract. Walking into the locker room when you don't have that money, and he's already reaching out to drafted players, rookies, all that stuff. He's doing all those leadership things. That man has to get paid before training camp, without a doubt. Anytime between now and then, I could see them working it out. But the closer it comes to training camp, the more, Jordan has on his side. And the sooner they get it done now, I would say the Packers have a little bit more leverage. I would say somewhere in the middle, early July, end of June, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, right around there, somewhere in that
yeah,
range.
If you're looking at a compass, it'd probably be directly.
I'll tell you the other factor that comes into play, too, is when he walks in that locker room like you're talking about, Emilio, if you don't have that contract, what does that say to the team? How much faith do you have in the quarterback if you're not willing to pay him, right? And listen, whether people want to admit it or not, that spreads like wildfire in a locker room.
Right.
If it gets to the point where it's like, okay, this dude has done everything right, and he's been a team player, and it's his turn to get paid, and the organization is kind of iffy, other people are going to look around that locker room like, oh, that's how this operates around here. Okay, there's no reward here, right? I'm not saying that's how it is in Green Bay. I'm saying that's just another reason to want to get it done as quick as possible, because that's the other thing too. When you give him that money, it also raises his level of leadership even higher, because guys on the team are like, I want to get to that level. I want to be on his level, right?
Yeah.
So
I think of it like we forget that that's their workplace. And like you talked about, drama can spread through a workplace so quickly, especially when you have like a common enemy, aka a boss.
Mm-hmm.
So that boss, it takes the form of either one Matt LaFleur or Gutekunst or whoever they want to,
or one Michael Scott.
Or one Michael Scott. No, that's the world's best boss, man. Come on. But it really does. It, like you talked about, it once he has that money, once he's acquired that like level of status, then it is too like that's why you want a Jordan Love, a guy that's not going to change once he gets the bag. So
yeah, I'd honestly give him 6 for
quarterback.
It is my quarterback, Tio. Thank you, but I would say 6 for like 280 if we could get him on a deal. That'd be like a Ross discount. But if not, I'm guessing 4 for 2 or 6 for 300, something like that.
Emilio, your private chat is inappropriate, Emilio.
I clicked on it like, oh, something happened. We got 5 messages. No, it's just absolute shenanigans going on. Look at Tim. Look how
shenanigans. You talking shenanigans?
Look how shenanigans, right?
Look how disgusted Tim looks right now, man.
Like dude, I don't even know what to do about this. I'm not even going to grab her. I'm just going to let her walk by.
You think God never farted?
That was awesome. Just easy. Put the ass right in the face, and he just kept it moving. Eric Sutherland, speaking of asses and faces, Eric Sutherland said June 1st, Love gets 200 million, 150 million guaranteed. He got awful specific there. So, all right, Eric, got you, man. Put it on the ticker. Eric has predicted it.
We'll add it to Coach Lynn's ticker.
Yeah, that's right. What was on Coach Lynn's ticker? Let me see. I think we got that.
I don't know if we can pull that up.
Yeah, there it is. Coach Lynn said Costco has some good tequila. So keep that on the ticker for a minute there. Forgot about that.
If we had a ticker of just comments that made the ticker line, that would be.
Oh, that'd be good.
That would.
Eric's
terrible.
Yes.
Yeah, it would get out of hand fast.
We need to keep this ticker going and just add to it continuously. If somebody says something that's stupid, but we can put it on the ticker. I want to specify this, Jacob. Don't go putting any of Eric Sutherland's quotes on the ticker, okay? For God's sake.
You got to reel this in a little bit, but I see the potential, definitely.
You know what Sutherland's doing lately? He'll make like 3 or 4 really nice, gentle comments, and then all of a sudden he hits you with one of those.
Yeah, because he gets you comfortable putting them up on the screen. Exactly. And then he slaps you with the old banana in the tailpipe trick there, right? That's the way that works. So
monkey see, monkey do.
What's that cat's name, Emilio?
Her name's Mazikeen from Lucifer. I don't know if you ever watched Lucifer. We named her Mazikeen. I don't know.
Is that Lucifer with
it's gonna be El Chapo or something?
No. The other one's Louie and the other one's Freddie. So
Louie, Freddie, and what?
Maze. We call her Maze.
Maze. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Put it on the ticker.
That's a great start to the ticker.
Yeah. Emilio's cat's named Maze. Prince in the chat says Matt LaFleur did say today that Stokes looks completely different from last year, healthy. They're obviously going to roll with him, man. They're going to give him a shot. That is if Kalen King don't burst on the scene here and kind of steal the show. We got a quick sound bite from Kalen King in the locker room earlier today. This is a dude with a huge chip on his shoulder, man.
The longest 3 days of my life. The most stressful 3 days of my life, the most emotional 3 days of my life. I've been through every emotion throughout draft weekend. So now, I'm good. I know where I'm at. I know where I'm going to be at. So I'm level-headed now, and I'm just ready to work.
Does that fire you up and fuel you up a little bit?
For sure. I feel like it definitely put a chip on my shoulder, a permanent chip. So I feel like I'll never forget that feeling. And I feel like that's only going to make me go harder and just keep me going forward.
Let's go, man. You're going to get a motivated 7th-round pick right there. There's no doubt about it. And again, I know some people roll their eyes because he had a bad year last year. Going into this past season, if you looked at the very first mock draft, if I remember correctly, he was being mocked in the first round. That's the kind of 2022 season he had. And that's someone who's going to battle out there on the boundary with Eric Stokes. And obviously, if Eric Stokes is healthy, and then you bring in, like we said, a Kalen King that's got a chip on his shoulder, Tim, that level of competition is going to be through the freaking roof on the outside, man.
Yeah, everyone's going to get better. Everyone's going to have to bring their A game. I mean, that's going to affect Valentine. It's going to affect, even Jair, I'm sure, Hafley's coming in here looking at all this personnel and figuring out the best lineups to put on the field, where to play these guys. And, I don't think he cares if you're an established vet or you're a rookie or not. He's looking for production and who's going to go out there and get it done. So, the more competition, the better, man, for sure.
Yep, no doubt. What do you think, Jacob? How do you think this cornerback room is going to shake out on the outside? Obviously, you're going to have Jair on one side. Who do you think is going to be the starting corner come week 1, man?
I think it's going to be Jair and Valentine, if I had to guess. But I think that King is going to make a massive push. Everything about him just seems like it fits. He again said that he felt like it was kind of like that everything happens for a reason, mentioning sort of like the religious aspect, that he thought that, even though like he talked about that was like the worst 3 days of his life, he went through a lot of emotion. He was very honest about it. He said he never turned off the draft, but he had to walk away multiple times to kind of get his composure, especially as it went first round to the second round. And then he said day 3 was absolute torture. And there was a point that actually went across his mind that he didn't want to accept it, but he thought, I'm going to be a UDFA, and I could have been and he, like you talked about, he's very honest. He goes, I have a massive chip on my shoulder. I thought I could be a first, a second. I ended up being a 7th rounder. He talks about how he talked about that with Carrington Valentine. they asked him some really good questions about what it felt like to actually be a Packer. He once again reiterated that his favorite player, he actually played his junior ball and wore number 2 because he loved Charles Woodson so much. To be in the stadium, they asked him, how does that make you feel? He said that he was shocked and didn't realize how nice Green Bay Stadium was. He said he kind of knew about the allure of it, but once he got here and looked around, he's like, wow, this is maybe the nicest stadium he's ever seen. So everything about him I'm really excited about. He reiterated too that he wants to learn from Jair, that him and his games, that both of their games are kind of similar in his notion. So I think it's a great fit. I think that he has all the tools capable. I don't get what happened. Oh, and the best thing about his interview is they asked him, what do you think the 31 other teams didn't see in your game that let you slide to the 7th round? And you could tell that he wanted to go off, and he just went, he goes, you know what? I don't have an answer to that question. He goes, but I know that the Packers saw something in me, and all I'm focused on now is playing for the Packers and making sure they know that they made a good choice. And I was like, awesome. That was such a good answer, because you could tell he wanted to say something else. He wanted to give him a little piece of his mind. It was really good.
All these dudes are human. I mean, the first time I walked into Lambeau, I had chills, went down my spine. So there's no way that him as a football fan, as a kid, his entire life walking into that stadium, there's no way he doesn't get a little bit of that. And on top of that, like you said there, I didn't get to watch the interviews, but just having that drive now and the fight for Green Bay, it's like, dude, all right, that's the Green Bays are my Spartans, right? And we're all in this phalanx now. Let's roll. This is my team. We got 300 against everybody else. Let's go.
All right, let's see here. Next comment. John Schmidt says, did you hear Lloyd talking about how talking about A.J. Dillon called him? So evidently A.J. Dillon called Marshawn Lloyd. That's huge from a guy who could really lose his job from that pick. A.J. Dillon's a class act, man. And look, no one has felt like he's lived up to a second-round pick as far as his ability on the field. But one thing you can't knock about A.J. Dillon is how he's handled himself while wearing the green and gold. That dude is class act, hard worker, embraced the community the second he stepped in, married a Green Bay girl, right? Like, he absolutely loves everything that Brown County and Door County represent. I want it to work out so bad, but I think we would all say it's probably going to be AJ's last year in green and gold. If he has a good year, they're not going to sign him to an extension, right? It's going to be one of those things where it's Josh Jacobs and Marshawn Lloyd. He's going to have to get his money probably somewhere else. It sucks. That's the tough part about the business of football. But, yeah, that's awesome that Dillon called him for sure, man. Let's see here. CJN says, listening to Lloyd's interview was great too. He said his and Jacobs' skills are similar, but each brings something different. I think we're going to be surprised with how well Marshawn Lloyd can catch the football out of the backfield. But we got a quick video here on Marshawn Lloyd, Packers.com. Tweeted it out earlier today. Let's see what it's about.
It's been good, just being able to be in the NFL and, lifelong dream come true. We're a young offense. We're young. Like, we did so good. We were, like, one of the youngest teams last year that were able to go as far as they did, and we're a year old.
I love how he said we were one of the youngest offenses in the league. We already.
Older. The team's a year older. We got a couple more young guys coming up. So I think we have a chance to be special for quite some time. Honestly, I was not expecting, to be here. I would definitely not. And when I got the call, the first thing I thought of was like Super Bowl instantly, because I'm like, this is insane. Just seeing exactly what they did last year and how great the team has been, just from the change and everything. I think this team is upwards going up for sure.
Love it. Hey,
first thing he thought of was Super Bowl.
Yep. That's what I'm talking about.
Tim, I'm surprised that A.J. Dillon got a hold of him with the reception on
John Deere Green.
I'm surprised he was even able to get a line into him.
Said he was raking straw that day, and it was hard to hear him. You know what I mean? But what do you think about Marshawn Lloyd, man? He's already growing on me, Tim.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, it's not easy when the departure of Aaron Jones to, have your running back room firing on all cylinders already. But Goody was clearly committed to remaking, reshaping, rebuilding, restructuring, whatever you want to call it, loading up that running back room. Yeah, clearly, the signs are pointing to, this being AJ's last year here. And, hey, that's tough, but, from a sentimental side, but, the other side of it is we get to be really excited about these young running backs that we have. Jacobs is going to be phenomenal. Marshawn Lloyd is going to bring excitement, and I'm excited for year 2 of Emmanuel Wilson, a guy that I think showed a lot of flashes last year. Got that nasty shoulder injury kind of late in the season, kind of screwed things up for his reps and his snap counts. But I'm looking to him too to contribute this year. So a lot to be excited about in that running back room.
Jacob, what do you think of Marshawn Lloyd, bro?
Again, that was one I actually didn't get to finish his interview. That was the last one I got to watch right before I jumped on here. Made about through halfway. He's just, again, a very mature young man. Seems like his head is on very straight and that he knows exactly, like you talked about, man, Super Bowl. That's awesome. It's really cool to see these guys and understand they've seen, like, the biggest thing that if you're not even a Packer fan, like, you just know that the Packers have like one of the youngest teams. That seems to be just common knowledge nowadays. And the fact that these younger guys are coming in here, I think they really buy in that, hey, I can make a difference for this team immediately. And I could be looking at myself being a starter in, possibly some of them to start the year, some of them midway through the year. And to get to the Dillon thing, it is going to be tough because he's one of those guys that you can tell he really was serious when he wanted to be a Packer for his career. I don't think the Packers want him for his career. It depends. Crazier things have happened. If he plays off the wall great this year and maybe there's a crazy injury or something happens, I could see us keeping him at least for a discount or whatever it is. But I don't know. At least we got him one more year. I think it's going to be imagine how cool it could be if we do win a Super Bowl. Dillon kind of is like, hey, that's all I need. I'm a Green Bay Packer winning Super Bowl. It's like the happiest ending of all time. At that point, we maybe separate. It's. I don't want to think about it, but it is what it is. As long as he doesn't go to the Vikings, he'll be good in my book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. Let's see what else we got here. R. Showers says, there's R. Showers being negative again. Said King needs a speed coach. Receivers separated worse the deeper the route went. He was physically inferior speed-wise. And then Ron Sample came back and said, I watched quite a bit of his tape, and I just don't see what you guys are saying about his speed having any effect. I did see him be much too aggressive, and he would lose some receivers, correctable. He ran a 4.640. Again, 40 time, I could care less about a 40 time. Give me what the GPS clocked him on the field. That's what's going to tell you the real story, right? And again, I know you got to go off of the tools you got and the measurables that you get from the combine and all that. It is important, but football speed is a real thing. And, the reason that Puka Nacua dropped, right? 40-yard dash. That was the main thing that hurt Puka. They went back and studied the gauntlet GPS. He was the fastest wide receiver to run the gauntlet. Now, how the hell does that make sense? He had a slow 40 time.
Have you ever experienced turbulence on a flight and wondered why?
And you can see all the terrain around you. You've got no issue with visibility or anything?
No, everything's PG.
Maybe you've sat on the tarmac for hours wondering why your plane isn't moving.
Well, we're outside here. They're saying the ramp is closed. They won't let us park because of Air Force One.
Listen in on the conversations between pilots and air traffic controllers on the Air Traffic Out of Control podcast.
510, declaring an emergency. There's smoke in the cabin. I need to make a landing right now on 31 left.
We have the most interesting, wild, and funny ATC recordings you will ever hear. Check out Air Traffic Out of Control wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Yeah, I think he was in the high 4.5s, but then was clocked at the fastest speed within the gauntlet. I think Keon Coleman this year, first round, I think he was a first round wide receiver pick. His was the same thing, right? The gauntlet, he was the fastest receiver in the gauntlet this year. Football speed is a real thing. He's a 7th round pick. That's the thing. Like, I'm not going to get caught up in his 4.640 time. You spend a 7th round pick on a guy who was graded out as the 9th highest graded corner in 2022 and was projected to be a first round pick. So,
we spent a 7th round pick on Lou Nichols last year. How'd that work out?
Exactly. So if he flops flat on his face and it's a complete bust, you spent a 7th round pick, right? That's it. So.
One thing they did to ask him was they said, hey, does it encourage you at all, the fact that Green Bay for the last 2 years Carrington Valentine, 7th-round pick, who was a starter, made substantial snaps. And, of course, my guy Rasheed Walker, 7th-round pick, who is now a starting left tackle. So, and again, me and Ryan always go back and forth because I love the underdogs, the 7th-rounders, the UDFAs, and he loves poo-pooing them. But I've got 2 years of success in my hopper here, and we're going on year 3 where we could have a very good 3rd, 7th-round starter. So I'm just saying.
How many people were complaining about Valentine's speed playing corner, right? How many people were worried about that? We're just talking about it right now because we just drafted the dude. We're not going to be worried about it when he's corner 2 in the start of the season, corner 3, whatever. We're only talking about it right now because we just saw those numbers. It's recent memory.
Yeah. And again, if he comes out and he competes for the starting job, great draft pick in the 7th round. If he doesn't, then Tim, hey, that's what you expect from a 7th round pick, right? So let's see here. Coach Lynn in the chat said, did y'all see the clip of Williams out at practice? He moves really well. It was impressive. Who are we talking about? Williams? Help me out.
Evan, I think.
Williams. Evan
the safety
Williams.
from Oregon.
Oh, gotcha. Heard him talk earlier today too. He took a little shot at Oladapo. Right, they were joking. He said they were joking a little bit back and forth. You could see that friendly competition there. Oladapo's got to be so mad with that bum toe right now. He's sitting back watching him go out and try to impress the coach.
Right.
So I think Oladapo, he's going to heal up the toe. Keep the music going, Tim. What are we doing here?
I
think he's going to heal up.
That was me. I'm sorry.
Emilio hacked the controls. He's in here now.
I think Oladapo is going to heal up that toe. He's going to be just fine. He's going to come out and compete for that box safety. That's what I think. I think he's going to get significant snaps.
Yeah, he is.
I think there's a chance they play a little big nickel, a little 3 safety look. That would be absolutely awesome if they put him in as that quote unquote sub linebacker. Now you don't want to take Quay Walker or Edgerrin Cooper off the field. I get you, but if you're in a dime set, you want to give one of those guys a break and put Oladapo there in the middle as that sub linebacker. I'm all about it, man.
Also, in his interview, Kitan divulged that he was a lifelong Packer fan, and that when they asked him they were like, "Oh yeah, well, who are your favorite guys?" And he's like, he started rattling off names, so you could tell he wasn't just saying that. He was like, because obviously I love Rodgers, like Jordy Nelson, Clay Matthews, and then he even said, when I was little, he's like, I played wide receiver, I was number 84, so I was a big Sterling Sharp fan. And I was like, okay,
dog.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't reading off a script either, right? He wasn't looking at the back of his wrist. And I
also
also
one thing though, he looks intense. Like he does not.
Yeah, right.
He doesn't look like somebody that like he's going to be a very fun, energetic guy. He looks more of like the type where it's like, don't make him mad. Don't stare. Yeah. He doesn't want to get talked to right now.
But again, it's another great example of competition, right? You got Oladapo and Evan Williams competing for that box safety spot, right? And that's what Coach Lynn's talking about here. So obviously Williams already starting to impress with his speed, his acceleration, all that good stuff. Respect Oranges. That's got to be the coolest name. Said Kalen King got his 40 down to 4.5 on his pro day. So there you go. A little bit better than that 4.6.
So what are we worried about? He shaved off a second. Aren't we happy? Like, let the kid just go out there, throw some pads on and play.
Not a second. To be fair, our shower says, hey, for the record, I hope all our guys maximize their skills. There's such a thing as teaching technique to improve deep speed. I understand that.
And that's what he was talking about. That's what our showers was talking about with the speed coach, right? That's a real thing. Like when you get to the pro level, you got some of the best trainers on the freaking face of the planet, and they can coach you up for a little more speed. They can get a little more out of you. It's just like pitching. Like you get a pitcher in high school that throws 88 to 90. You get them with a good pitching coach to improve that arm strength. You can get that in the upper 90s in a blink, right? As long as you got all the tools to make it happen. Cody in the chat said, "This is my new song to pump me up."
Oh my gosh!
Oh Lord! I need to know who Marvin.
I marked it so Amelia would laugh at it. Not so
dude.
Unbelievable.
Hey, you can do it. They can help.
He said, "You can do it." Anyway, since we're on defense, as we button up the defensive side of the ball, we got a little bit of an extended interview here with Edgerrin Cooper. I tried to amplify the volume. For whatever reason, they suck at getting the volume right. Hopefully this isn't too loud, but I hope it's loud enough that you can actually hear it, okay? And no more No more poop markings here, all right? Jacob, don't be marking anymore. Don't shake your head like you didn't do it. We already got the truth. Don't do that, okay? Let's don't do that anymore. So here we go with Edgerrin Cooper, the second-round pick, obviously out of Texas A&M linebacker.
What we have and what we want to improve on defense, and it's a good feeling. You know, we ready to go handle some things and just go from there.
I'm sorry if you're asked this, but what was the first moment that it really felt real?
It still didn't hit me yet. It's crazy. Just, you know, growing up, I knew I was going to be in a good spot, but just being at the highest level right now and at this point in my time, it's amazing.
What was this week like before you got here, from the time the draft ended till you got here? Who were you with? Where were you?
No, just hanging out with my family. You know, just getting everybody together and just telling them, you know, this is what we worked hard for, and this is what I got y'all for, and this is what we're going to do.
Have you had any conversations with Jeff Hafley yet?
No, I haven't.
So what's the goal for this week, or these 2 days, I should say?
Just learn as much as I can, or short amount I can, and prepare myself. You know, I made a promise to myself. We're going to go 110% every day, and just try to wait for them Sunday nights.
You mentioned being an outdoors kind of guy. You came into a pretty good place.
Yeah, that's another thing that came with it. You know, it's a lot of good fishing and hunting around here, so it's another thing I can add to my plate.
Let's go.
A dog person, correct?
Yes.
In a big way. 6 dogs, is
Yeah,
that right?
yes.
What kind of dogs?
I got 3 Frenchies and 3 Cane Corsos, but people know them about Cane Corsos. I breed them. You know, those are my buddies. That's something I do outside of football, something I love doing.
You consider yourself a dog on the football field?
Oh, yeah, 100%. No, that translates from doing the dog visit. I got them big dogs, so when I step on the field, you know, it's going down.
Are the dogs here?
Not yet?
Not yet. I got to get settled in first.
We have 4 dogs, and it's crazy to get home. It's just like mayhem.
Yeah.
What's it like to get home to 6?
Oh, it gets bad at some times, but it's more preparing myself. Just as, you know, preparing yourself for the field. You know, I have everything set up to where it's easy for me, and just that's what it is.
What's your favorite fishing and hunting stuff?
Bass fishing and hunting. And I like to go hog hunting. That's my go-tos.
If you go back several years, did you always see linebacker as your path, and how hard was it for you to give up and running?
With me, it was either or, but I like to hit people. I like to punish people, so I knew linebacker is where I wanted to be at.
You can theoretically do that as a running back too.
Yeah.
Was that a tough sell? I mean,
yeah, it is, but it's just a different feeling, you know, seeing something, go chase the ball down, and, you know, making an impact on the play.
How grateful are you for that move now, and it's going all into linebacker?
Very grateful. You know, both of my older brothers play linebacker, so also I get bragging rights too, so we can go from there, and, you know, it's a great feeling to have.
How long did it take for you to know that you made the right decision there?
It really was just throughout the process, you know. Good things happen over and over, and, you know, I'm just reminding myself, well, I'm glad I put myself in the position. I'm glad I came here.
You were the who first suggested that you do that full time? Was it your idea, or
It was my high school coach. He started slowing me down on playing running back, and I just wherever's in my way, wherever obstacle I had, and whatever I had to do, that's what I did.
Again, sorry if you've been asked this, but your Quay, how much have you had communication with him?
Just a little bit, you know, just chatting with each other, you know, just getting a feel for each other. So when he come in, we could, you know, communicate, and, you know, I follow his steps, and we get on the same page and rock and roll.
Do you think you could learn something from him, like outside of football? He had a big change from year 1 to 2, kind of his personality as far as trying to, you know, does the meditation, is that something you'll kind of pick his brain?
Oh, yeah, you know, 100%. You know, just learning how to be a pro. You know, I feel like he's already adapted to how things are running around here, and, you know, I feel like I'm able to use him as a source to know what the right thing to do to be the best on the field.
Watch his film and all?
Nah, I haven't.
You were the first linebacker drafted. Does that kind of stuff matter to you?
It matters, but, you know, I feel like after that, you know, draft day, you're in the same shoes that everybody else, no matter what round you got picked or wherever. So, you know, I'm just putting myself in the same shoes that everybody else and just fighting to get a job.
Love it, Tim. That's got to fire you up, dude. That just his whole demeanor, man. He seems like an awesome kid. Gonna come in and work his rear end off. The fact that he's an old country boy too, you got to love it, man.
He's a dog. We got deer hunting up here, so you're gonna have to switch from the hog hunting. Do a little deer hunting up here in Wisconsin, but I'm sure he'll have fun. No, man, he looks like a real humble kid, ready to learn. I love the way he answered a lot of those questions. You know, I'm here to learn, here to get as much information as I can, get myself ready to be a good pro. Yeah, man, I fully see Pro Bowls for this guy in the future for sure.
Hey, there's some hog hunting going over at Crow's West. I promise you that. There's some ladder backs over there that you can go in there. Let me tell you, Jacob. You know what I'm talking about, man?
Oh, I do. I've never done it, but I do.
Look at Emilio.
Hey man, the big ones treat you like kings. I'm just gonna say. My Uncle Dan once said that. Rest in peace, Uncle Dan.
Just for the record, I was talking about male and female. Jacob turned this into something sexual. Anyway,
that's not true. We don't know.
Jacob.
It's 2024. You don't know what I meant. Thanks.
You don't even know what you meant.
I don't know what I meant. Sometimes I start a sentence and I just hope I get to that.
I can't breathe.
Not know where it ends.
To bring it back to Cooper, I really do think
24. Put it on the ticker. Go ahead. Continue, Jake. You good.
I think he's going to be a perfect fit. I wish I could honestly. Hey, Mr. Cooper, if you are willing to hang out with Mr. Cooper, huh? My dad and my grandfather, we have over 200 and some odd prime hunting land with fishing ponds in there. So I'm just saying, I'd take him out, maybe bring him on the 4-wheeler. We could become best friends, Edrin. I'm just saying.
You gotta take me and Emilio and Clayton first, man. What's up with that, man?
Yeah.
Thanks for our invite, Jason.
He's inviting draft picks. We don't get the invite. What's up, man?
I don't think I meet the weight requirements according to Jacob. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean, we tried to get Edrin on the draft live stream, so we might as well try to get him deer hunting with Jacob. But I'd be fine with that if we could get some one-on-one.
The ticker has been updated, so just so everyone knows. All right, let's see what else we got here real quick. Let's see in the chat. We got any more in the chat, Mark? I think we have one, Mark.
There's not much.
Cody just said the beat drop is so motivating, man.
That is very true.
Yes, you could literally turn it on C-SPAN, put Home Depot music to it, and you'd be over like. Yeah.
I mean, when are they going to reach out to us though? Either about a sponsor or about hitting us with a lawsuit.
I'm sure the cease and desist letter's in the mail.
It's already in the mail. I'll give them Jacob's address.
Dude, there's no way we haven't helped them because right now they're hitting us with that spring ad about helping your mothers out and everything with the gardening soil and all that. Come on.
Perfect. I don't know who you got to get a hold of.
All right. Let's go to Coach LaFleur. He was asked about Jordan Morgan earlier today. As you guys may or may not know, he did take all the snaps, to the best of my knowledge, at left tackle today. And keep in mind, it was rookie minicamp, but pretty cool seeing them already trying to see if he can hold his own at left tackle. But here was Coach LaFleur on Jordan Morgan.
Happen organically where those guys end up, just like I'm sure you guys are going to ask why Jordan was at left tackle only. Everything's fluid around here.
Can you see his Morgan's quickness just in the drills? Stand out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can see his athleticism. I think actually the whole group looks really athletic, and they certainly look the part.
So obviously Matt LaFleur's leaving that door open for Jordan Morgan to play guard if need be, right? But pretty cool, man. I think he is a true left tackle, and that would suggest that he should be able to hold his own on the interior. Most teams you would say, no, he's just a tackle, he's not a guard. But the Packers love that tackle experience for their interior offensive line, obviously. We got a clip here of Jordan Morgan. It's about 4 minutes long, but we're kind of up against the gun here. So let's just go around the horn here real quick. And I'll start with you, Jacob. How you feel about Jordan Morgan? Where do you want to see him play? If you had to set the offensive line today for the Green Bay Packers, where would you put what would the offensive line be? Where would Jordan Morgan be on that line?
Sure. What I would do, I mean, this is going to sound kind of – I keep Walker at left tackle, Jenkins at left guard. I kick Tom into center. I put Morgan at right tackle, and I have either Glover or our boy Monk slide in there at right guard. That's what I do.
Nice. All right. What about you, Emilio?
If Morgan beats him out in the offseason or, Walker's not looking the same, I would just run it Morgan, Elton, then we'll run Myers, we'll put Monk in, and then run Zach Tom at right tackle. And it's not like Goody's afraid, or Matt, I guess, afraid to put out rookies to play. And we have tight ends that are in their second year. We have chip blocks. We got motion. Matt can scheme this up, that up. We got a new running back that's skilled and has experience. I really don't see it being a horrible problem, especially until we go up against, top 10, top 5 edge rusher. Then again, we just kind of double scheme it. But I think start him at left tackle if he's ready to roll.
Yeah. Tim, what do you think, man? How would you like to see this offensive line kind of fall into place, man?
I feel like it's really early, but I mean, just early reaction. I'd like to see Rasheed Walker probably move over a spot, and maybe he starts at left guard. We have Mr. Morgan starting at left tackle. You got old Joshy Boy and maybe somebody else competing there at center. And then maybe we've got Big E at right guard with Zach Tom at right tackle. I feel like now you've got kind of fortify both sides of your line, and then you just got that, that little bit of issue at center that you need to clean up. And for all we know, Josh Myers could have a great year this year. We don't know. He has consistently been there. So, and I think, when you talk about Jordan, QB1 here coming into his own year 2 as the starter, we got to figure out center sooner than later. Like whoever's going to be there snapping the ball to him, should, for all intents and purposes, be doing it for the foreseeable future if he's going to sign this big contract. So I'd like to see him develop that almost like Brett Favre and Frank Winters type of relationship. You have got that good rapport with your center. You can't really do that if you're playing musical chairs all the time. So, but again, I'm not a coach, but yeah, I think it would be interesting to see Big E move to the right side, right guard next to Zach Tom over there. And then you got the big dogs on the left side,
Yeah, I think there's two different answers here, really. Like, what do you think the offensive line is going to look like this year? And then what's the long-term plan next year? I think what I would like to see is for this year, Rasheed Walker at left tackle, Elton Jenkins at left guard, Josh Myers at center, Jordan Morgan at right guard, and then obviously Zach Tom at right tackle. That's the way I think it should kind of go. Now, you could kind of flip those and try to put Sheed at right guard. I don't think he's more of a guard, as much a guard, and doesn't have that versatility maybe, as far as being able to pull and things like that Jordan Morgan, that's definitely his bread and butter. But when you talk about next year, what I would like to see happen next year is to kick, let's say Josh Myers walks in free agency, kick Elton Jenkins to center is what I would like to see moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Big be your center. He's already got his contract, so many people would say, why would he forfeit money to go to that position? It's already in his contract too. That if I understood correctly, if he plays left tackle, he gets a bump in pay, if I remember right. So they protected themselves in that regard. If they tried to give him a cheap contract because he's a guard and then kick him to left tackle to try to manipulate the market. But I would love to see Elton Jenkins at center next year. That was his position coming out of college. Many people forget that. I think he would be a dominant all-pro center. That way you can keep Tom at right tackle. Let's say Sheed does stay at left tackle or Jordan Morgan beats him out for left tackle. Then you can put maybe Sheed or Jordan Morgan at left guard. And here's the other one, too, that nobody's talking about. We're not talking about Monk, right? Jacob Monk he hasn't taken a snap of football yet. And everybody's already going, this dude's going to compete. He's going to compete. He's going to compete. It's just wild because he went from being on nobody's draft board all of a sudden, like, this dude's going to compete for a starting job. Like, what are we seeing? What's going on behind the scenes to make people think? Because you guys know Jason Wilde, whether you like him or not. I personally do. I like his show. It's one of my favorite podcasts. I wouldn't have said that a few years ago, but it's really, really grown on me. He is very, very high on Jacob Monk. So there's something that Wilde's hearing, I believe, to lead him to think that, hey, Jacob Monk's going to get a real look at right guard, right? And I know people believe that Sean Ryan played good last year. I have to respectfully disagree with that. There was too many times that we seen him turning and facing the quarterback. We've seen it on Chalk Talk all year long. I'd like to see someone else take over that right guard spot personally. But who knows, though, man? Get another off-season training, a full off-season of training in for Sean Ryan. He may come out and play lights out, man. So there you go. Let's see. William Gould in the chat says Mike Wall said he wasn't any good until his 4th year. Who's that? Who's
I think Monk he was talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say one thing too. I don't know if you guys are planning on if we're doing a morning episode tomorrow, but if we do, I think we should maybe watch the Jacob Monk and the Travis Glover interviews again. You look at them and they're like, oh, those are grown men. They are so massive. I mean, just giant human beings. But again, they both carried themselves with such kind of humility and maturity, and the way that they just seemed like they were ready to go, plug and play. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a couple more, dogs and eventually in the next year, 2 or 3 years, that those guys are assuming some sort of role. I could definitely see them swapping out something in that center, somewhere in the center and guard range there, because I do think that we got some guys on the outside that will be competing. I just want to get that. I mean, if we get a rock solid offensive line, there's no telling how good this team can be. I mean, really, we saw how good Love was last year when he was still kind of using a very touch and go offensive line. If we got a real if we give Love enough time, it's going to be unreal the stuff we can do. I think.
Yeah. Who did you say you wanted to watch? Jacob Monk and who?
Glover and Monk. Yeah.
Glover and Monk.
Also, Evan Williams, if we get a second. And they're smaller. They're only about 3 or 4 minute interviews each, so I think it'd be.
Yeah, we'll definitely do a Good Morning Lambeau tomorrow. That's cool. Anyone who's available. I know Amelia won't roll out of bed until 11 a.m.
Good morning.
I am going to hit some of that liqueur though when I wake up. That stuff is my go-to. that is my go-to weekend drink topper for sure.
Yeah, but first you gotta
wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
I haven't even showered yet. I still need a shower.
I was gonna say you look dirty. I didn't want to make it sound like a certain type of way.
Jacob, you racist bastard.
I was gonna say that old stereotypical.
Unbelievable, man. You were on the roll tonight, Jacob.
Hey, man, I came here to play.
Add it to the ticker.
Yeah, look at the ticker, man. You made the ticker tonight. It's 2024.
Dude.
You don't know what I mean.
We started this ticker roll, and Jacob's added 2 of them in a matter of 30 minutes.
This show is so stupid, man. Anyway, Coach Lynn says Rasheed Walker at left tackle, Elton Jenkins at left guard, Zach Tom at center, Josh Myers at right guard, and Jordan Morgan at right tackle. That's unique there too, man. They may shift Myers over to guard at some point. Watch him just set the world on fire too. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's physical. He's got the ability to get to the second level. If you do want to run duo or a little pin and pull, he's got all the physical traits. It's just he just don't know when to snap the effing ball, right?
Right. But Clayton, I would love to have him excel, right? The dude's already got the experience. He knows the calls. He had Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback. He's had Jordan Love as a quarterback. Why would we not want this dude to succeed? But we just haven't. We need him to step up. We need him to be facing the defense when Jordan Love throws the ball. That's an issue.
This chat's so out of control, and it's all your own fault. And what's crazy is I try to take down the chat on my screen and go to the private chat where all of us are. It's worse in here. It's worse in our private chat than your all's chat. Just out of control, man.
Hey, Tim's been keeping it professional. Look at him.
Yeah, Tim, I've looked at Tim the entire stream. He's going, when's this thing going to end? These guys.
That is the only way to keep it straight because Tim is the only one keeping us on the rails right now.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Tim,
I got some advice for y'all. Take 2 weeks off, then quit.
Tim, wrap this thing up, man. What else you got before we get out of here?
Since we're still on the O-line talk,
Eric Sutherland said, I've been professional. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I guess. I'm not. Just to wrap up the O-line talk, I'm not a huge fan of any scenario that has Zach Tom moving off of that right tackle spot. I feel like when he's there, number one, I feel like that's his. I don't want to speak for him and say it's his favorite spot to play, but it certainly seems like one of his more comfortable spots, and it really says something that we don't have to worry about that side of the line at all. You know, you can trust him. Right tackle is fine. I would rather work my way back to the left side if we're going to start jumbling personnel around. But that is not to say that he can't play center, because clearly he would be an upgrade at center. I just wonder if that creates other pieces that have to move around then in order to fill that void on the right side. So I would be starting there when I'm building my O-line. You know, let's keep these cornerstone pieces, if you were, keep those guys where they're at and try and build some of these younger guys around them. So, but we'll see what happens.
Tim just changed my mind. That's actually a good point. You should totally take both of your pillars, keep Walker at left tackle, keep Tom at right tackle. I agree. Plug in Elton at center, and then you got Morgan / whoever else to plug and play at guard. I think that's a great idea.
What does that create, Jacob? A little bit of a wall, right? Just a wall kind of surrounding our man Jordan Love. That's what I love to see.
That's right, you dirty guy.
Sorry,
that sounds like a nice retaining wall to me, right there, fellas.
All right, let's get out of here. Are we done? Are y'all done? Is everyone? Did you get it out of your system? Is everybody good?
Yeah, I guess.
I feel good. I feel good about
those of you listening.
I blew an axle on the trailer today.
You blew a what?
I said I blew an axle on the trailer today.
I've been there. I've been there. We've left them on the side of the interstate before. If it's still there next week, we'll pick it back up. Let's keep this thing going.
We'll toss it in the scrap car. It'll be all right.
Emilio, didn't you say that you were almost like a victim of a hit and run, basically?
Yeah, it was wild.
All right, hey, that's just the way we talk in the clink.
Yeah, at least I had a spare tire in the trailer. I changed it out real quick, but yeah, the dude peeled right out. Gotta watch out for those medians, man.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. It happens with the best of us.
The medians. Okay.
All right, we're out of here. For
those of you listening on the pod,
thank you for making us a part of your day. We'll be back in the morning for Good Morning Lambo. Eric Sutherland said, I bumped up my PayPal donation to help pay for Jacob's headlights. There you go.
giggity.
Christian says, you in all caps. I like how you wanted to get the point across. He said, you guys are the epitome of professionalism.
You sure about that?
I appreciate that.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, we're out of here. We will see y'all tomorrow morning for Good Morning Lambo. If Tim doesn't show up, we understand why. He's sick of us. Okay, that's just the way it goes. But
no, man, I'm happy, man.
Happy as a possum in a dumpster.
Oh boy,
I've had so much of you guys. I swear, I can't stand it. I'm done. I've been crying this whole episode, man. Emilio trying to get us canceled. Unbelievable. So
I'm the one that pulled off the safety dance last night. So how about you? I need a little respect put on my name.
That's true.
Safety dance, man.
Somehow this guy named Drew Ryan sat through the whole episode just to politely at the end go Lions.
There you go. I appreciate you, Drew. Honestly, come back. We need more of that.
Yeah, go ahead.
We found the one decent Detroit fan on earth.
Hey, you come back anytime, Drew. Come back anytime.
Drew, it was a pleasure having you.
Henry Ford was the man.
Yeah.
Henry Ford was Jesus. Coach Lynn said thanks again. No, Coach Lynn did not say stay off the week. Coach Lynn said thanks again. Chalk talk on clips of rookie camp tomorrow. We will have a Javon Bullard chalk talk most likely sometime tomorrow. We'll probably do it in the evening time, I would imagine, unless we don't have anything to talk about in the morning. We'll kind of see.
So good.
Real quick, Drew, just go ahead and share that to some of your Lions fans if you could. I appreciate you us popping up in your feed. While you're at it, hit that like, subscribe, hit that alert bell. We're good.
Go to the Patreon group, click on the link there in the description of the video, Drew, and you know what I mean?
You could just become a member to the Patreon group. You don't even have to pay. You can just hang out.
Yeah, just hang out.
We're pretty fair to the Lions. If you're a Bears fan, that'd be a different story, but we are pretty fair.
Drew, what's your take on the Lions?
Oh, boy.
I'm getting out of here. I ain't got time for this. All right.
Come back and give us your projection for the next year.
Come back tomorrow.
Hey, there you go. Guy's right there in the chat, bro. He's with us.
Bang.
You
got a sub. Let's go.
Appreciate it,
Eric.
Man.
Come on, man. You had such a
tomorrow on Royce Snooman. All right, we're out. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. We'll see you in the morning. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. And just like we said before, do whatever you want to do.
The power sweep actually is the lead play in our offense.
We ask our YN or a tight end to open up somewhere between 6 feet and 9 feet, get an isolation with the linebacker. Tell the tackle to take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, to drive down on the first man to his inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here. Try to run this play in the alley.